Good morning, everybody. Welcome into Morning in the Valley. It is August. August is here, which means we are officially 3 months and 2 days away from the start of the 25-26 season. Glad you are with us today here on Friday, August the 1st. Coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to talk with the head basketball coach of the Northern Iowa women's program, Tanya Warren. She is scheduled to be with us coming up at about 9:10. Looking forward to catching up with Coach Warren. If you haven't done so already, please head on over YouTube and search out Morning in the Valley. Subscribe to us there and help this little program continue to grow. Appreciate all of your support as we are 4 months into this little venture, and hopefully, so far, so good for everybody. Another road game for us today as we are still in Mom's basement here in Northwest Ohio for another 60 minutes or so before we depart back to West Kentucky. But the decor is locked and loaded, and we are ready to roll here this morning. All right, let's get into some headlines today as we start off with a busy commitment time here in the last 48 hours with the Missouri Valley for the class of 2026. We've seen Belmont within the last week and a half with 3 different commitments, and now some other schools trying to catch up. And starting at Northern Iowa, as Ben Jacobson has gotten a commitment from class of 2026 recruit Xavier Zenz out of Wisconsin, a 3-star prospect, a 6'7" small forward out of Wisconsin. Took an unofficial visit back on June 3rd. Was first offered. It was back on May the 22nd. So just about 2 months worth of flirtation between the two sides, maybe 10 weeks before he finally decided to pull the trigger and become a UNI Panther. It's been a busy last couple of months for Xavier after obviously going into this spring and summer AAU season, getting out in front of coaches, got offers in the last 3 months from Bradley, from Illinois State, from Drake, Buffalo, Colorado State, Miami of Ohio, and of course UNI. And in the end, he decides to be a Panther. The last sort of a quiet social media presence for Xavier, but the last thing he posted was back on June 24th. He actually had taken an official visit to Toledo, and then everything was quiet for 6 weeks. And then the next thing we hear out of Xavier is he is going to be a Northern Iowa Panther. So congratulations to Xavier for his decision, and congratulations to Ben Jacobson getting one on the board for 2026. Another commitment, this one in Terre Haute, as EJ Hazlitt has committed to Matthew Graves and the Sycamores program, a 6'7", a self-described point forward out of Indianapolis. He was a listed PrepHoops.com, has him as the number 3 prospect in the state of Indiana in the class of 2026. He will not be in Indiana long, though. His dad is a football coach, and his dad is taking the family to Kankakee, Illinois, just south of Chicago. And so EJ will be playing his senior season there at Kankakee High School. But again, this was an offer. Now, this was an offer, and we talk about sort of these short windows of recruitment that we see nowadays, especially with high school seniors. We talked the other day about Belmont and the amount of kids that they have offered, and within 4 weeks they've got them signed or at least committed to come to the program. EJ first got his offer from Josh Schertz back in January of 2024. So, 18, 19 months ago is when he got his offer. But of course, Matthew Graves was on staff. That offer obviously held even with the head coaching change. And now EJ Hazlitt has decided to become a Sycamore. And at Valparaiso, Hudson Scroggins has announced his commitment to Roger Powell there at Valpo, another 6'7" young man. This one a power forward. He is the first 2026 commit for Powell and the Beacons. He actually graduated from high school a couple of months ago, but he will be going to New Hampshire for a year of prep school before he comes to Valpo. And obviously there is some recent history there at Valpo where high school graduates who then get a year of prep school before they come to Valpo, things have worked out pretty well. The last 2 years, guys named Cooper Schwieger, guys named All Right, who ended up being Missouri Valley Conference Freshman of the Year. So certainly Roger Powell hoping that trend can continue with Hudson Scroggins. On the women's side, we've got a commitment as well as for Kate Popovic-Goss. Believe this is This is the number one commitment for the class of 2026. Her name is Samantha Davis. She comes out of La Crosse, Wisconsin, a 5'10" forward, offered back in February, and her final list, if you will, got down to Bradley, St. Thomas of Minnesota, and Green Bay, but she decides to come to Peoria and play for Coach Pop. And Bradley averaged 17 and 10 as a junior at Aquinas High School there in La Crosse, and just part of a powerhouse program. 74 and 11 they have been with her on the roster the last 3 years in their conference. They have won 11 straight conference championships there at Aquinas High School. They have a 114 game winning streak within their conference, and she has been a big part of that. As I was doing some media deep diving on her up there in Wisconsin, just described as a double machine. She plays the five there, but knows that at 5'10", she's going to have to be able to maybe get out on the wing a little bit, work on her shooting some more. But an exciting day for Samantha Davis, and I'm sure an exciting day for Coach Pop as well to be able to get that commitment for the 2026 class. All right, scheduling news, as Bradley's men will be playing an exhibition game. John Rothstein reporting that on October the 11th, it will be the Braves will be going to Green Bay to take on Green Bay. Brian Wardle returning to his former stomping grounds. He spent 10 years there, was 5 years as an assistant from 2005 to 2010, and was the head coach from 2010 to 2015. And now, of course, he is the going into year 11 there at Bradley. But sort of these exhibition games, now that you can go D1 against D1, there's sort of two paths. Either, on one hand, you're going to get some neat matchups, sort of like this one, where you get some familiar folks back together again and get to a game that Bradley would probably never go to Green Bay to play a game, but in this situation, it's a neat homecoming for Coach Wardle. Or it's games, sometimes some higher major schools bringing in mid majors who again would never play those teams in the regular season, but in an exhibition standpoint, they would get together and play. But either way, a neat deal there on October the 11th. It'll be Bradley at Green Bay. Our friends at Murray State, we get a very exciting trip of guys on a bus, and that is because they were headed to the airport yesterday to go to the Bahamas, where they will be playing next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 games in 3 days in the annual every 4 years, although in this case it took an extra year or two, but the every 4-year exhibition tour where they will be down playing the University of Calgary on Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday playing teams from the Bahamas. Ryan Miller getting an opportunity to figure out what it's like to be the head coach and walking up and down the sidelines instead of having to sit and so on. So that'll be a good deal for him, good deal for this brand new team. 15 new guys, be able to get together, get on the floor, play against somebody else, and certainly will be a positive for them as we work towards the start of the season. To me, maybe the most important part of that picture that you're looking at is the 3 international players from Murray State are all on the bus and going to the Bahamas. They have arrived here. Matisse Corbin from Lyon, France. He's already been here for a couple of months, but Roman Doman, who played in the FIBA international stuff with France, he just got here within the last 48, 72 hours into Murray. Lachlan Crate, also from New Zealand, who played in some FIBA international stuff. He just arrived as well in the last week. So there's always some holding of your breath for anybody until they get to campus. They're not officially on the roster until they get to campus. Certainly some other complications with the international kids, but they've all made it to Murray, going to the Bahamas to play, and it'll be neat to see everybody in action and see how that all rolls starting on Monday. Our show will be Monday at 9 a.m. Games will start at 10 o'clock. So we got a busy morning in Missouri Valley Conference basketball to take care of there. Murray State's schedule has not officially been released, but it is done from other sources. They have released many of their games. Other sources have kind of filled in some gaps, but just a quick look at what they have. It's really a high major schedule when you look at it, that you have 5 home games, 5 neutral games, and just 1 game on the road. I mean, that is truly a high major schedule. All of their home games, and I think from a maybe sex appeal, if you will, about name brands coming in to Murray to play. There may not be as many as some folks would hope, but at the same time, Ryan Miller has been very purposeful in his trying to. He understands how the net works, and he understands how the net needs to be, again, for lack of a better word, manipulated and massaged, maybe, to try to maximize metrics for at-large possibilities and so on. And so when you see their 5 home games are all quad 4 games, Mississippi Valley State, Nichols, Little Rock, Moorhead, Bellarmine, they are all, the only one that is not in the bottom 300, essentially. I think Nichols might be 279, but Mississippi Valley State 365 out of 365. You have Little Rock. Little Rock is about 180, and that's a return game from a home and home. So that's that's probably the one that if he had his way, he wouldn't play, because they're sort of in that, they're a quad 4, but they're too good of a quad 4. The one road game will be a quad 1 game at SMU, a return game from a home and home 2 years ago, and then 5 neutral games that are all quad 2 or quad 3 games. The 3 down in the Cayman Islands, they will play Omaha, of course, in the Field of 68 opening day marathon, and then they'll get Akron out in Las Vegas right before Christmas. So all in all, schedule, again, from a brand name standpoint, maybe what not some fans would like to see, but from this is what you want from a metric standpoint, to be able to make yourself as appealing as you can from a metric point of view. Ryan Miller has done a good job with that. All right, our guest has arrived, and it's time to welcome her in. She is the longtime head coach at Northern Iowa. She is the winningest head coach in the history of the Missouri Valley Conference. And let's welcome in the head coach of the Northern Iowa Panthers, Tanya Warren, this morning. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing lovely this morning. It's wonderful to have you on. While we have a moment, I was just talking about schedules at Murray State. Let's talk about your schedule, which is just a holy shnikes. Did you load up and get some heavyweights? 10 non-conference games that I've seen, not one. Looking at the net from last year, you don't have anybody that was 200 or worse. You've got 5 in the top 50. What in the world were you doing?
Well, if you look at, we typically schedule this way, and we do it for a couple of different reasons. We want to make sure that we put ourselves in position, if we don't do what we need to do in league play and in the conference tournament, to at least have ourselves in the talk for an at-large bid. Especially being able to beat a couple of those teams on neutral floors, and it always gets us prepared for a very, very solid Missouri Valley Conference. I mean, when you look at the league last year, the league was loaded from top to bottom, and the league has just progressively gotten better, and it was the best that it's been since I've been a part of this league last year, and it's just going to continue to get better. So we have to schedule like that to prepare ourselves for a tough conference season.
You see last year, and you're like, gosh, you guys finished 6th, which you go back and look, that was the worst you'd finished in the league since your first 2 years. But it's like, okay, number one, to your point, the league was unbelievable, the top half last year, as deep as probably it's been in years and years. You lose arguably your best player in November, which certainly didn't help at all. Just from a all right, we're spinning forward now, and you've lost all of these foundational pieces of the Buffellis and the McDermotts, and I can go on and on. How much of a reset is it for you guys right now? And kind of this is a new look bunch we haven't really seen.
It is. We're kind of. I mean, it's been a long time since we've been kind of in that rebuild mode, so to speak. We have 6 returners. And 6 new players, and our returners are all going to be in different roles. And then you're implementing 6 new kids. So it's something that I'm extremely excited about. We had a really good off season with this group, a good summer. There's going to be a lot of learning, a lot of trial and error, and a lot of being our feet to the fire. But, when you have a group that is excited and they're yearning to love and want to get better, and they have connected well, anything can happen. So I'm just excited for a young group of young people who are excited about being here and want to continue to get better on an everyday basis.
You have missed the postseason one time in the last 15 years. It's sort of the standard is the standard. And even
Yep.
with this, hey, we've got a whole new bunch really coming in. How do you try to keep that continuity of making sure that all the new kids understand this is the way we do things and these are the expectations that we're playing deep into March?
Right. Our goals and aspirations never change. It doesn't matter. And when you look at teams and rosters, it doesn't matter if you have all new kids or you have everyone coming back. Every journey is different. There's highs and lows to every journey. So we'll really focus on, we're probably going to have to simplify a lot of things, both offensively and defensively, that we've done, especially from the start. But we will just really focus on coming to work every day, getting better, enjoying the moment, because and really not talk about wins and losses, because winning doesn't mean you did everything right and losing doesn't mean you did everything wrong. So you have to be able to find the progression within the balances of both of those, and just keep being positive and understand that growing sometimes is about going through tough times and being focused on the present, and the journey, and not so caught up in the final destination.
The final destination has been really good for you over the years. And to go back and see 18 years in the Valley, one losing record in the Missouri Valley Conference. How have you been able to maintain that consistency year in, year out, different players, different staff, all the changes? Lord knows all the changes in this game that we've gone through now. How have you been able to do that?
Well, first of all, I've been surrounded by amazing people. My staff has been terrific. Brad Nelson's been with me all 19 years. And then, the other pieces have really been a part of this program. Nate Oakland's now, he was part of my very first staff when I was here in my first year, and Caitlin Only was part of our very first recruiting class. So when you surround yourself with people who are not just colleagues, but family, and then you have a group of young people that, again, want to be a part of what is really special, and they buy into your vision and they want to work towards your vision on an everyday basis. And I tell you, the foundation for this program was laid way before I got here. You can't help but talk about those who came before us and really kind of set the way for us. And we was able to just continue to build. But it has everything to do with the young women, their character, their work ethic, and their belief in our vision.
When you have a player like Amaya McDermott, who probably had to have a little more on her shoulders when Grace Buffelli got hurt last year, and
yes,
for somebody to, she started 97 of her last 98 games with you, but then at points last year, to have her get 30 against an Iowa and 35 against Murray State, 37 against Iowa State, she obviously had your trust that when it was, it's crunch time, we know we're getting the ball to her and she's going to take care of us. She is not there anymore. How does someone else on your team, in your program, sort of step into that trust role? What do they have to do to earn Tanya Warren's trust that when it's time, they're the ones that are going to lead you to the finish line?
Well, you bring up some really valid points. When you look at the workload that Maya had on her a year ago when we lost Grace, and honestly, it was probably too much. In terms of the load that she had to carry. But as a staff, we have to do a better job of trusting all five, everybody that steps on the floor, and understand that the more variety we can score inside out, threes, twos, paint, free throw line, and everybody's comfortable with that, the harder we're going to be to guard. So we don't have the luxury of one or two people that we can lean on that have to score. So we're going to have to lean on and trust all five and put them in positions to where they're connecting, and they're playing not only with each other but off of each other. And if we can do that, we'll win some games. But this is a unique roster where we don't have anybody, one or two people that we solely have to rely on. And honestly, that's probably a good thing. And that's an exciting thing, because now it puts all five kids in position to make plays for each other.
Summer workouts. How did they go? Are you guys done yet? You still have a little more time, or are we wrapped up?
We are done. They went home last Thursday. Summer workouts were good. Usually when you have a veteran team back, you can work on a lot of things. With us being so young and new in different roles, we really had to slow down and do a lot of teaching, a lot of half-whole type things in our workouts, but they went really well. Not only on the floor, but from a strength and conditioning standpoint, it was a joy. We made huge strides individually and collectively. So again, I could not be, I do want to go back and talk about those four seniors in Maya, Emerson, Grace, and Kaba, because those four kids came in together and they decided that they would come back for a fifth year, and they didn't have to do that, and they chose to do that. But what I don't think people really understand is that group, we played 66 games our last 2 years. That starting four played a total of 9 games together.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard to overcome. But when you have a young group that's coming in and they're excited about the newness and they want to be the next group up, you can't help but ride those coattails. So I'm excited to see where this team goes. We're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to understand that there is going to be a learning curve. But with that, a lot of good things can happen because this group has the right attitude and they have the right work ethic. So excited to see where we go from here.
Talk to me about the book club. Chopping wood, carrying water.
Yes.
How'd the kids take to it, and what do you think they got out of it?
Well, you know what we did? We was extremely intentional about spending time with each other off the floor and really getting to know each other. Because I think it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to do it, because we know adversity is going to hit.
Right.
It's not if, it's when. And when that adversity hits, what's going to allow us to overcome that? When we go 5 straight possessions where we've turned it over, are we going to come together or are we going to split apart? So we were really intentional. We had coffee dates. We did skits. We broke bread together. And in one of my coffee date meetings with one of our freshmen, Marin, actually, she said to me, "Have you ever done a book club?" And I said, yeah, 5 or 6 years ago, actually, I used to have our team read a book every summer. I said, "Why? Would you like to read one?" And she goes, "Yes." I said, "Okay, well, what are you thinking?" She said, "Chop wood, carry water." And I said, "Well, how ironic. That was the last book that we read when we did it as a team." I said, "Let's do that." And so I talked to they jumped on board. And then a couple of days later, I said to Marin, I said, FYI, you're going to lead this. And she's like, "What?" And she did a terrific job. I mean, a terrific job. Everyone was engaging. They talked a lot about what different things meant to them. It was fun. It was extremely rewarding.
That's awesome. Who is Tanya Warren outside of basketball?
I'm very family oriented. I love my family. I love working out. I love spending time at home. I lost my dad 3 years ago and had an opportunity to move my mom here with me. So she's 88. So being able to spend time with her every day is such a blessing. And I like to shop. Love to shop. Love old cars. But I'm very private. But I enjoy meeting new people. I enjoy just being able to help people, make people smile. And I love spending time at church on Sundays and throughout the course of the week when I get the opportunity.
You are one of the few coaches, no social media.
No social media. I know me. No. It's funny because my staff and they all make fun of me, but they all let me know whatever it is I need to know. So
there you go.
I would let them have that and let them take care of it, but no social media, just texting for me.
Do you have old cars, or are you just like walking by looking at them?
I have a 66 Mustang.
Awesome.
That I've had for about 10 or 11 years. And then my dad had a '93 Isuzu pickup, which they stopped making several years ago. That I was inherited, that only has 48,000 miles on it. It's in mint condition. So
That's awesome. That is awesome. You started your coaching career way back in 1988, coaching high school.
yes,
It has been a journey, certainly, in this changing era of basketball. We've seen a lot of veteran coaches just go, I think I'm going to go hang out on the beach, and this is
yeah,
fine, and I'm going to leave this
yeah,
for somebody else. What is it about this job and this sport, still even the shape that it's in
yeah.
today, that still gets you out of bed every morning going, this is what I want to do?
Well, being able to impact young people's lives. It's a game that we all love and we get to enjoy together. But basketball is so much more than that little orange ball going in the hole. It's life moments. It's life lessons, and just being able to come to work every day. Like I said, my staff, they're not colleagues, they're family, and being able to enjoy the good, the bad, the indifferent with people that you absolutely love. But these young women, they don't get the credit. Athletes in general, they don't get the credit that they have to sacrifice. Now they get a lot, but they have to sacrifice a lot too. And all the different things that they're getting pulled in 50 million different directions, and what they can consistently do, and how they do it in terms of how they perform on the court, how they perform in the classroom. 14 out of our 18 seasons here, we've been in the top 25 in team GPA. That's impressive. And then how they give back to the community. How can you not help want to be a part of something and individuals like that who do things the right way and they work extremely hard while they're doing it?
Well, last question. Kids are gone. I don't want to get too into the weeds with the private life, but what are we doing? Do we have any vacation, any fun for you personally away from the court before they get back with classes
Well,
starting?
I am going to take a couple of weeks off here in the next couple weeks. Go spend some time with my brother in Omaha. They have one of the number one zoo in the country, so mom and I'll go there. And my nephews and nieces are there, so it's an opportunity for mom to be with her grandchildren, her great grandchildren. So we'll spend some time there, and then honestly, then I got to do a little staycation and do a little house cleaning.
It can get away from you if you don't
Yes, it
keep
can.
up on it. So, Tanya Warren, head coach of the Northern Iowa Panthers. Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks,
Enjoy your
Jeff.
time off, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Appreciate ya.
All right, thank you.
Bye bye.
There's Coach Warren, and said it's she's the smartest one in the bunch. Going, hey, no social media. Just let other people deal with it. She's probably got 2 extra hours a day because she's not doom scrolling like the rest of us. So glad she was able to hop on with us this morning. One other piece of news before we get out of here today. Scheduling news that we knew about previously, but is now officially official. Detroit Mercy putting out their non-conference schedule, and it shows that UIC on the board. Opening night, November the 3rd, as Detroit will head to Chicago to take on Robbie Son and the Flames. So one more piece to the non-conference stuff that slowly coming together for everybody in the Valley. We are hopeful we will have going to have to reach out to our friends at the conference, Mike Kern and the gang. I feel like the window may have passed. I know last couple of years, they've done sort of summer availability with not only the commissioner, but all the coaches and so on. Thankfully, a lot of them have been able to come on here. So we've been able to talk to many of them, but I don't know if they're going to have that summer media day with the folks at the conference, but hopefully we can get that sorted out soon enough. Coming up next week, I know we will be talking with UIC guard Ahmad Henderson. He'll be joining us on Friday. Wednesday, my radio tag team partner at Murray State, Kenny Roth, will be with us. We'll talk about the first couple of days of the Racers playing in the Bahamas. Again, they will start Monday morning, 10 a.m. Against the University of Calgary, the Dinos. That'll be on Monday, and then 2 teams from the Bahamas on Tuesday and Wednesday. But we'll talk with Kenny on Wednesday and get his early impressions of the new look Racers as they get their first chance to play together down in the tropics, enjoying the Bahamas. I think that about does it for Mom's Basement one last time before we head back to West Kentucky. Thanks to all of you for being with us today. If you have not done so already, please head to YouTube and subscribe to the show there. It's free. There's no cost, but you will get all the past shows are there. If you ever miss anything, we've got interview clips up as well. You get a little notification bell you can click just to remind you that when we go live, it'll say, hey, they're up. And so you don't miss any of the shows live when we're on here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 o'clock. And again, as we get closer to the season, we'll be on more frequently, and very much looking forward to that. So that does it for today. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you on Monday morning, 9 a.m. right here on Morning in the Valley.